What is going on, everybody? We are doing a shiny badge quest for Pokemon Shield here, and I just got to get my auto counter set up, and then we're gonna get hunting. How's everybody doing? How was your Tuesday? I had a pretty good Tuesday. It was productive. Busy day at work, but I was able to get most of the stuff done that I needed to. Got in a little bit early. I was at my desk by like 7:40, which my last job before this one, I would get in like 8:30 the earliest. Um, but I have a lot of meetings in the mornings now in my current role, so couldn't be coming in too late for for this new job, but I'm used to it now. I kind of like getting there before everybody. I can dip out a little bit earlier uh, than, a little bit after 4. So that's always nice. I feel like I take the time back. And I actually do have a call pretty late tonight, around 9 p.m., so I'll message my boss to see if he can cover that one, but it would be nice to skip out on that and just hang out a little bit more, maybe hop on stream for a little bit longer. All right, got the counter set up. Let's jump in. All right, we are up and running. Let's do this thing. So, sitting at 655 encounters. For the first round, I actually got a shiny Skwovet, and I wasn't hunting for anything in particular. I think I'm going to get a little bit more targeted, so I have the chance to phase in some new hunts. But this one we're doing now is kind of like we're targeting a medley of folks. So we got Gossifleur, that's our 1/1. That's who we would ideally get. But Growlithe, Tyrogue, and Trubbish are also very viable options. And then Stunky and Zigzagoon are things I'm not really looking forward to. We're not really going for any wild encounters, so it's really just going to be overworld encounters that we're hunting down. So it'd be interesting to do a wild encounter hunt at some point during this, but we're sticking with the overworld encounters for now. But be a little annoying to manipulate, and it would cause more potential phasing. So maybe we'll do at least one of those. But I kind of like the overworld encounters. It makes fun, and we get the 2% Tyrogue as the first encounter. That's pretty cool. All right, maybe we can chain a couple of these together. I have noticed, I don't know if it's an actual thing, but when you battle certain species, they seem to pop up more and more after that. So I think there's got to be something, because like I feel like I never seen Tyrogue, but then when I do, he pops up like 4 times in a row. So we'll see if that happens here. And it does not. Bad first example, huh? I got home from work and I literally just fell asleep for like 15 minutes. I have an uncanny ability to just nap on a whim, so that's always nice when I just need to sneak in a little bit extra sleep. I've only gotten like 6 hours of sleep for the last couple nights, so I gotta focus on getting a couple extra hours tonight. I'm gonna try to get to bed at a reasonable hour tonight. Been having too much fun playing around with this YouTube channel. It's kept me up till midnight, and I can survive off 6 hours, so I feel like my brain will let me get away with that when whenever it's possible. All right, 2 encounters down. I'm hoping we can get up to like 700 tonight. On the graphic down there, actually, I found this pretty cool Dragon Ball Z themed font. I've been ripping a bunch of DBZ lately. I'm on the fight where Goku is finally fighting Frieza, so there's just so many more episodes, so I don't really know where the series is going to go after this, but I do remember this fight specifically when I was a kid. My cousins were big fans, and I just remember watching Piccolo Frieza Showdown. There were a couple episodes of that. So finally getting around to actually watching the show, and it's been fun. But that's actually been a pretty good way. Like, anime is kind of perfect for if you're recording, not streaming, and you want to binge something. I feel like you can just roll into the next episode very easily. So that was pretty nice. I've been drinking these Spindrift drinks, and they're delicious. I'm addicted. I pick them up pretty much every single time I go to the grocery store. Ooh, we might have seen a Brilliant Aura over there. I'll have to double check. It's on Stunky though, so I don't think the odds will be that good. I don't have too many encounters on Stunky. I was interested in hunting Stunky, but it has the ability Aftermath, so I lose a quarter HP anytime I take it out, so not ideal. And we're doing a little bit of odds manipulating here by defeating all these pokes. I currently have Gossipler over 300, so we have pretty good odds on any Brilliant Aura for that. And once you get above 100 encounters, you get a bump from, I think it's 1.5% to 3% for the Brilliant Auras, and within those Brilliant Auras, you actually have increased shiny odds, so those will be pretty important encounters. But I swear, like, 3%, that should mean 1 in every 33. I swear I encounter so many and just won't see them for a long time. I feel like I see like 2 or 3 in a row and then nothing for hours. Oh, I'm finally getting out of that little nap I took. It's like, it was a nice little nap, but throwing me off a little bit right now. Yep, I'm hoping for another under odds hunt here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do next. I think there's a couple interesting options. So on Route 4, there's Galarian Meowth, which I'm really interested in Meowth just because I can get Payday and really start farming a lot of cash, and it has a great shiny. But I think the coolest hunt would actually be in the third gym in Motostoke. The gym challenge is to catch Pokemon, so I think you get an encounter table of Litwick, Vulpix, and something else. I can't remember the third one, but another fire type. And you can actually catch a shiny that is in the Motostoke gym. So that'd be a really cool counter location to find a shiny. So that would be a pretty fun haul. I'd have to it'd be interesting because I'd have to go and prepared with a bunch of like pokes and PP recovery items. Actually, I could probably leave and go back in, but yeah, that would be. We'll have to look up some clips of that just to make sure that I can leave and heal up when I need to. Otherwise, we have to craft a team that can specifically handle this. Maybe go catching a Pokemon that has the harvest ability or something like that. I don't even know if that's available this early in the game. But yeah, getting I think it really depends on whether I get a shiny Growlithe on this route. Because if I get the shiny Growlithe, then I don't need the other fire type. I'll probably go straight for Meowth. But I think there's a pretty good chance we're hunting in the Motostoke gym if that option is at all available. I got a good feeling that you're not allowed to leave the gym battle once you start it. I didn't try that on the first gym when I was pushing those Wooloo, you know? Too enticing. Alright. I think I'm about 10 encounters away from getting Trubbish up to 100, so we gotta target Trubbish when we see them. Then we get the maxed out Brilliant Aura odds, and then we're kind of cooking. I think we'll have 3 pokes above 100 encounters. We're still chipping away at Tyrogue. I don't even know if we'll get there. I kind of hope we get the shiny before then, but shiny Tyrogue is sneaky the top choice for this hunt. Gossifleur is the top choice when considering just the odds altogether. So Gossifleur and Tyrogue, those guys are up front for a reason. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, honestly, starting to stream and just putting the channel together and editing clips has actually been fun. I feel like it's challenging my brain for a hobby in a new way. I One of my hobbies is actually just modding old Game Boys. So I'll replace it with the IPS screens. They have some really high quality screens that you can replace with the old Game Boy Advance screens that didn't light up, especially before the SP, Game Boy Advance SP. So you can get so much, like such a higher quality experience gaming off of a modded Game Boy, especially with those older models. The SP is pretty good, but even with the upgrade there, it is so much better. I wonder how long till we start getting OLED Game Boy Advance SPs. Once I see that tech drop, I'll have a hard time not being enticed to do that. But at this point, I have like 10 Game Boys or something like that, so I already have too many. Explaining that to my fiance that I bought another one would it's getting difficult, but it's honestly been pretty fun to give them as gifts for people's weddings, or if it's a big birthday. It's really fun to give that to somebody, especially if they're in gaming. Obviously, that's a prerequisite. Yeah, I might need to start up. Oh, no, got away. See, those Trubbish, that's part of the reason I don't even have 100 days. They just run away half the time, so unless I beeline it towards them, they can escape pretty easily. Yeah, and I'm not gonna complain about a shiny Growlithe if that's what we end up getting, but for Nessa, it's a water type, so I'd be going in with Greedent and a Growlithe, because I definitely need to level up this Growlithe a bit before we evolve it so it can get some good moves. But with unlimited TMs and the TRs, it actually might be pretty viable to just evolve sooner rather than later. I don't think I have a Firestone yet, though, so I don't know where you track one down. I think they spawn in the wild area in certain locations, so I'll have to look that up. But Shiny Growlithe and Shiny Arcanine are both so cool. I've actually been thinking through a playthrough of Ruby where I only use bad Pokemon, so I started crafting a team in my head earlier. I'm thinking Surskit as the pseudo starter. And basically, the criteria for a bad Pokemon is either annoying encounter rate for how good it is, and Surskit and Masquerain are actually pretty decent. It gets Intimidate, but it loses that water type upon evolution, so you just start getting mopped by any rock types. But then I think just because of that 1% encounter rate in the early routes, it's like a good first poke to get for the first gym too, because it has access to Water Gun, but at the same time, again, 1% encounter, and it's weak to the rock move. So I think that makes it an interesting thing to move. And then I would pick up Skitty as well, because I think we would need more than just a Surskit to get through that first gym. So it'd be fun to kind of figure out how I would want to approach that battle. And then definitely would want to get one of Illumise or Volbeat. I was looking at Illumise. I don't know how to say that name, but that bug guy. It actually has a really interesting move pool. It gets Wish, Moonlight. It gets what else? Encore. So that would actually be a pretty good gimmicky poke to throw out and just mess with the AI a little bit. And as a bug type, it has weaknesses, but it's not 4 times weak to anything, so I think its bulk would hold up enough. We might need to do some EV training for all those folks, though. I actually really like in that cave where you only encounter Whismur. It's a really good place just to grind for EVs, and for early game pokes, you can still pick up some levels, but you just get a bunch of HP, so it's a good way just to apply bulk to every single poke you have. Then also, I think I would want Plusle or Minun. I think I would go Minun. I like the blue one. And then Tropius is a lock, and there were a couple other ones, so I would need something to surf. And I've been trying to avoid coming to grips with using a Love Disc, but it feels like it's the perfect poke for the team. If we're going, like, how can you not have the baddest of all Pokemon? I would need something before that's available though, so I might pick up a Whalmer as a placeholder for the water type, just so I can surf around. But yeah, Love Disc, and then another option as an alternative might be Corsola, because I never used a Corsola either, and I think that would be a really fun poke, and it would give me another type. And it's also very bad, so I think it fits the theme as well. Plus, any shiny hunting for Corsola, that's like an elite tier shiny, so that might be fun. I've also been thinking of an idea for a challenge where I just catch or hatch a shiny Ladian in every single gen. And I have one in Gen 4. I uploaded a video a couple weeks ago for that, so that was really exciting. But I think it would just be fun to, over time, get a lady in every gen, and then I could just keep it in the corresponding gen. They don't have it in Gen 8, so unfortunately, I looked into it, checked if it was in any of the DLC, and it was not, so that was a little disappointing. Insert Dexit meme here, but it's available in Gen 9, I believe. It's available in Gen 7 for sure. But yeah, basically hunting down the shiny and then doing a playthrough with it might be fun. I just solo the game with Ladian like 8 times. Now I'd probably build a team around it, but we'd get fun with the types of teams we have. So I might do a shiny Ladian. And for Gen 5, I would have to hatch it, so that's just maybe a Masuda hunt. I don't know how to stream Gen 5 as of right now. I don't have a capture card for a DS, which are pretty expensive online, so I'm not too keen on dropping that right now, unless there's any sort of path to monetization. But I do have an Ein Thor, so I could just do it off cartridge, but having it a shiny trapped on an emulator feels wrong. I would just lose interest in the hunt. But yeah, that would be a really fun run. I feel like I just got so many ideas. Doing like any sort of shiny dream team quest would be really fun. I keep coming back to doing one in Pokemon Diamond, but to get the starter, it's so difficult. I definitely think I would go for a Turtwig, but all of those starters are pretty good shinies in that game. But I think I would have to do Platinum just because the amount of time the cutscene takes for the starter just makes it a really painful hunt. So I don't know if I want to sign up for that. I've never officially done a full odds hunt, especially in the old gens, because just that 1 in 8, 192, but those are tough odds. I guess I did that with in my Soul Silver file. I got a shiny Chikorita recently, and I did a bunch of resets, but I was under odds, and that's you get a 3 for 1, so it's a really quick hunt to do. But yeah, I guess that counts as full odds hunt. So I've done one full odds hunt. Everything else has been more modern gens where you have a mechanic to do it. So we're kind of doing that here, but I assume I'll get a full odds shiny at some point. But for Squovit, when we got the shiny Squovit, it did come out of a Brilliant Aura, so it was technically 1 in 1024 odds. Not a true full odds hunt, but we don't care about that. We're just trying to get 8 shinies, beat this game. Depending on how quick this goes and how burnt out I get from it, I might do some bonus hunts in the post game. I currently don't have the DLC for this game, but it would be really fun to do the Crown Tundra. And really depending on how quick this happens, I got it on my wish list, so hopefully it goes on sale. I'm not super keen on buying a DLC I already own in Sword. But I didn't really understand the mechanics for Dynamax and how you shouldn't catch the poke if you want to shiny hunt it at any point. So I caught a couple shinies ahead of actually doing the shiny hunt for them. So I got so many shinies through that mini game though. It's so fun. So we might do a couple laps of that. And there's some full odds hunts you can do. can potentially chase down the Galarian birds. So that would be a fun one. Be full odds, but I'd have the opportunity to get the shiny charm before then, so we might wrap up the game and just get a full dex before this run is over. We need to see which Galarian legendary bird I would want to go for, though, because I think they all take back the color scheme of the original legendary bird, so pretty cool pokes. But Galarian Articuno is probably my favorite design-wise. I really like the other two too, but Articuno is just the king of that trio for sure. I think I would rank it Articuno, then Zapdos, then Moltres. I do like Moltres, but I remember in Leaf Green, the first time I was playing through it, I was trying to catch a Moltres, and it took so long. I don't know what it was. I probably was only paralyzing instead of putting it to sleep, so it took longer than it needed to. But yeah, that was ridiculous. It took forever. I have been healing up. I've also been catching most pokes. It's actually advantageous for the route you're hunting on to at least catch one of each of the overworld pokes, because I guess if you haven't caught them, there's a little notification on your Pokedex saying that like you should try to catch this guy, and it increases the encounter rate for those pokes. So basically, you want to catch those just so you stop getting that increased encounter rate. So here's the dex so far. We got a good amount of evolutions, but I think what I want to evolve next, I don't want to evolve Gossifleur because I want that to be a I want the dex entry to get the shiny, so we're gonna hold off on that. And surprisingly, oh, we got some items, so we gotta take these items. But yeah, let's go get a skunk tank. No, I do not want to give an item to. Yeah, I have been farming items with these Linoons, and once they get to 31, they get the new encounter table, which has some better items in there, so need to be careful that they don't evolve into Obstagoon before then. I don't remember if that's just a level up or if there's a specific method to the evolution, but we want to keep those as Linoons. You can always just click B at the evolution prompt. But yeah, honestly, this will be good because I think, what did I start at? I think it was right at 600. Get a good idea of how long these encounters take with battle animations off, and most of the encounters on this route are good encounters. We're just avoiding Zigzagoon because we can't be doing normal type mono run. That's just too boring to start the team that way. My boy Chubb's here. Pangoro. He is turning into a beast. He was the only poke in my box that could learn False Swipe, so he's been honorarily added to the team as my shiny hunter, so he'll be able to just take out a bunch of pokes, but we want him on here so we can False Swipe it, and I have confirmed that none of these pokes have any self-inflicting damage moves, so it's a pretty safe hunt once we actually get the encounter. For anything that could damage itself, we would just huck balls. It might be fun. Doing a Ghastly hunt would be interesting. As a colorblind person, I have a hard time telling when that is shiny, and I think I would just have to spec out a team so we could use taunt or something, just so it doesn't use curse too much, because one of my buddies failed a shiny Ghastly in Brilliant Diamond because it used curse twice, and it was over. Scary stuff. Curse is an interesting move. They haven't really made anything. First off, it has a different effect for a ghost type versus every other type. It's actually better as the non-ghost form, but damaging yourself to like belly drums similar to, I guess, and then you can like potentially sweep. So the payoff really isn't there though, because what, you take a quarter damage each turn after you use it. I feel like that most of the time isn't really going to help you. I don't think that's ever been a VGC strategy to give up all that health. Maybe if a Pokemon that new Gluttony. Ooh, we got a Tyrogue. Let's go. Hopefully we can farm a couple here. I just want to get a chain going. Made a ribeye for myself last night. It was very tasty, and I had some leftover Five Guys fries, so it was a little homemade steak free. I don't know how to make French fries myself. I've looked it up, and it just seems like it's too much effort for. I assume my first try at fries, they wouldn't end up being that good, and then dealing with all that oil just deters me. There's also just so many good ways to make potatoes that I feel like it's an unnecessary meal or side to make at home. Hold on a second. Maybe we can get up to close to 800 encounters today. I feel like that's feasible. Probably go for another 45 minutes, hour, and then I gotta cook up some leftovers, so that shouldn't take too long. I think we're making the steak and cheese tonight. But I do have to hop back on my laptop to finish up some work tonight. I have that 9 o'clock call though, so I'm waiting for them. See, I don't understand this. How the hell is a Gossifleur outspeeding me? Like 20 levels higher than it. It makes no sense. I swear. Let me check the hidden ability for Gossifleur, because I wonder if it gets Prankster randomly, or something that gives priority to Sing, because I swear Gossifleur has outsped me multiple times inexplicably. It's not even a particularly fast poke either, so there's got to be some shenanigans going on. Oh, well, it's Effect Spore, so I would have killed it if that triggered, so I really have no idea. Maybe it's just like max speed IV or something like that. EV plus nature, but it has 10 base speed, and Pangoro is definitely above that. I don't know. I don't know how it keeps outspeeding me. Makes no sense. Alright, we're coming up on 700. I think we were at 11,026 for the last hunt, and we've actually been counting much more effectively this time. I was still learning how the auto counter works, so 1126 is the rough estimate, but I was using a manual counter where you have to click plus on the keyboard every single time you get the encounter, and that was less than ideal because I lose my train of thought. The second the battle ends, all of the to-dos, like check Linoon for items or you need to heal somebody up, just goes out of my brain immediately. So remembering to click plus each time was going to be a problem. But shout out to Brosidon, who brought my attention to the auto counter app. He linked it in one of his videos. It was this fire red and leaf green badge quest where he catches Ekans, and it showed how everything worked in OBS, and I was like, I am capable of doing that. It's pretty straightforward. Only thing I wish it could do is hold on to, you can basically queue up 6 encounters. However, there's a lot of routes in this game that are more than where there's more than 6 encounters possible. This technically is a route where that's the case because you can go around the corner and there's a patch of grass where only roly-polies are the overworld encounters. And then also the random encounters that, like, in the grass are, it's like a completely different encounter table. So those aren't counting towards the total, but we're not hunting those, so that's okay. Thought I saw something funny with that Snuggie for a second. Gossip is a great shiny. Elder is too, really cool too. And then that'll help me big time in Nessa's gym. Yeah, like how is that outspeeding me? It makes no sense. There's no way that Pangoro has a speed lower than 10. I refuse to believe it. It is not that slow. Yeah, it's 58. So how on earth is Gossifleur even coming close to outspeeding me? Well, that was 700. We did it. Another 100 down. If we get up to 800 today, we might be able to do a longer stream tomorrow. I don't think I have any plans after work, so might be able to get up to quarter odds at that point. I'd be really excited if we got a full odd shiny, so because at this point we're coming up on half odds overall for the encounters, and the more we get those brilliant auras, though, like the odds are going to get pretty good for those soon, especially for Gossifleur. Gossifleur's over 300, so we're sitting at 1 in 658 odds, something like that. I think that's the number. It might be 685, but that would be the odds for a brilliant aura encounter for Gossifleur. So pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right. This does go by a lot quicker when I can one-shot everything too. For a bit there, Pancham was not one-shotting, but then we got the Evo, and it's just been real quick encounters since. So Pangoro's probably going to be the lead for a lot of these hunts. I would like the shiny hunt with my greed, but the shiny animation just takes a lot of time, and I don't want to over level it too much on top of that, because Chubbs here is at level 33, and if I was just using Greedent the whole time, I think it would be like level 38, because I've trained up a couple folks fully since starting this hunt, so Greedent would just get a little out of control. I want the gym challenges and like all of the trainer battles to be somewhat around the level cap. We're probably going to go above for Greedent, but we're going to be focusing on training whatever the shiny is for this route before the next gym. Yeah, and on Route 4, I have a bunch of battles that I didn't do too, because I wanted to save the experience, and I was already flirting with the level cap for the first gym, which we managed to stay under, so that was good. Rolled up 20 at level 20, and we had the shiny squill, but I hadn't evolved yet, because it evolves at level 24, but we almost lost. I had to use 2 super potions in battle, and I try not to use items in battle, but it's a school of it, so we let that slide. I didn't have the best strategy for that battle too. I needed to. I got a little trigger happy. I think it was like this move called Cheek Pouch or something. Basically, what it does is it triggers the eating the berry sooner than it normally does, and it gives you a sharp defense raise. So that seemed like a good move to use, and I wanted to be at full health going into the Eldegoss. But Eldegoss only has special attacking moves, so the special defense or the defense raise didn't really do anything for me. And then it was just laying big Gigantamax hits on me even after I Gigantamax. So I had to heal up, waste some Gigantamax turns, but we ended up taking out pretty easily once we returned to normal form. It would be fun from a challenge perspective to get the shiny Growlithe here. We're racking up a couple encounters here, but Eldegoss is just too cool, and it'd be nice to have two Gen 8 pokes as the first two members of the team, so I'm kind of sent on that. Oh, I just remembered in the gym you can also get a Centiskorch or whatever the baby is. I think it's Centiskorch. So, or yeah, something like that. But that would be a really cool shiny too. And I didn't use one in my playthrough. I think I got a shiny through Dynamax Adventures, but I didn't end up using it at all. It is a really cool Gigantamax form too, so that would be a fun one to add. But shiny Vulpix, I mean, come on, all three of those shinies are great. So if it's not Growlithe, we're definitely gonna hunt down one of those. I wonder when you get access to the ability patch in this game too, because if we get any of those before the Elite Four, then we can set up some drought strats, which would be fun. I love making like competitive builds for my playthrough teams. I've been trying to do that in a lot of playthroughs. I think it just makes it more entertaining to grind up a team, try to do a little bit of EV training. My Soul Silver playthrough, I got a really cool team right now, and I think it's locked in. I just might replace one of the guys with Lugia, but first off, I have Shiny Meganium, which is from the Shiny Starter hunt that I got, and then 20 encounters later, I ran into a shiny Geodude in Dark Cave, which was unreal. I was in awe of that. It was I think it was a couple weeks after actually, because I went on a Peru trip, and this was right after my birthday. And on my birthday, I got the shiny Chikorita, so that was great. It was kind of funny because I got the shiny finally, and then I was like, had to go on vacation. I did not want to bring my DS. I just wanted to get off the gaming for a couple weeks. So I was just like anticipating this fun playthrough with a shiny starter in Soul Silver coming back. So I finally get back on the game, and then boom, there's a shiny Geodude. So I've been rolling with that team with a shiny Geodude the whole time, and it's been a lot of fun. And then at that point, I wanted to go hunt down a shiny Ladian because, you know, name of the channel, I gotta prove myself a bit. But basically, I got the shiny Ladybug after, I want to say 500 eggs or something. So that was a long hunt. Egg hatching is really slow in Soul Silver. If you're gonna do it in Gen 4 and you have a choice, I would do it in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum just because the bike is a little bit faster. Sorry, my fiance is in Paris today and she's sending me cool pictures of the Eiffel Tower. I'm jealous. She's been in the UK for the last week, but they took a day trip to Paris, which is kind of unreal that you can just go to Paris when you're in the UK. Take the train over. But yeah, we gotta take those items. See, I always forget. I just never think to do these little maintenance things in between battles. But we're racking up encounters quick. I think we've gotten like 60 or 70 in about 40 minutes here. I always do that. I'll go to the held item button on all the pokes, but then for some reason by the third one, I forget that I have to click down 3 times, not 2 times, and click to swap Pokemon. I don't know why I do that, but it seems to happen all the time. But yeah, making a steak and cheese with my leftover steak tonight, but I also picked up some wings, so I'm gonna get those marinating overnight. So it'll be nice and seasoned. I throw basically the entire spice cabinet at my wings. I have a method, and I think it works pretty well. I really enjoy my wings, and most people seem to be a fan of them that I make them for, but I go heavy on chili powder and brown sugar. Well, first I put them all in a bowl and I throw on some olive oil so they can have a good like layer of oil and binder through the oil. And then what I'll do is I'll take I take a bunch of chili powder and a bunch of brown sugar. I kind of eyeball it, but you want to put a good amount of that in there. And then I do cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne, salt, pepper, obviously, and then some smoked paprika, oregano, red pepper flakes. So as much of the spice cabinet as possible. And then I let that marinate for, you only need a couple hours, but the longer the better. So I'll get 24 hours on those. And then what I do is I take some cornstarch, toss the wings in about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, depends on how many you got. And what that does is it gives it a really nice crispy skin in tandem with the olive oil you already put on it. And it's delicious. So if you ever want a good wing recipe, leave a comment and I can type it all out for you. I have it in my notes, so I should be able to copy and paste that over. But very tasty wings. Good for any party. As long as people are willing to get their hands dirty, but you know, I want to be friends with people that are willing to get their hands dirty for a good meal. My kind of pressure test for a pub, if I've never been to the pub before, is I get buffalo wings as the starter, and then I order their burger, and that's how I determine whether it's a worthy pub in my eyes. Those are the two things that you should be for sure good at as a pub. You got to take pride in those types of things. No shiny so far, but we haven't gotten any brilliant auras, so that's where I'm questioning whether this 3% chance is even correct, because I swear I see less than the 3% hit rate. Because right now, Growlithe and Gossifleur are both sitting at a 3% rate, and I'm not seeing any of them. And we for sure battled like 30 Gossifleur alone, so. Oh, let's go get a Trubbish, because we are close to 100 for that. We can do a quick dex check after this. I forgot to check after we hit 700. Each 100 encounter increment, I like to see where we're at for number defeated within the dex. So we'll take a quick run through that right now, unless we get another one. Oop, all right. So how you can check this is, we'll just start with Scorbunny. Scorbunny was my original starter, and that might be another hunt, especially if we don't get this Growlithe, but if I end up getting the shiny in the gym, then we might not end up doing that. 507 Rookity, so I was expecting this to be my first shiny, but then we got the shiny Squirtle and the Brilliant Aura at 1 in 1024 odds, but this could be a future hunt because we got it teed up for 1 in 512 odds with the Brilliant Auras, so that's definitely an option down the line. Squirtle's in at 214, so that was actually at 1 in 840 odds, actually. Nickit was getting pretty close to, that was over 200. Wooloo was actually number 2. I was hunting all of those other Route 1 folks over Skwovet, but we ended up with Skwovet, and now we love Skwovet. Greedent is actually a really fun, because of its ability, and you just like are always motivated to have a berry on it. It's a pretty interesting poke to use. I'm glad it at least has a unique gimmick that makes it interesting. Alright, so we have Growlithe at over 220, so odds are sitting at 1 in 840 for Growlithe right now. 43 encounters for Tyrogue, so I don't know if we'll hit 100 on that, but that would be nice to have a decent chance of getting one of those. 357 for Gossifleur, so we want to get up to 500, and then we can stop battling it, because at 500 it maxes odds, so there's actually no reason to encounter Gossifleur outside of the Brilliant Auras once it hits 500. So we can focus on all the other ones, so that might make the search a little more targeted, and then we can have better odds, but we're still a ways away from that. And 93 for Trubbish, so we need to get 7 more, and then we're cooking on good odds. But yeah, Sizzlipede, Sense Scorch is what it evolves into. That might be the target for the next hunt, and then we have 3 Galar Pokes to start the team. I think Glaring Mouth is the other one that's in play, but I need to decide. It really depends on whether it's Growlithe or Gossifleur for this one. Tyrogue would be the best, just because then we have options, so I might need to take a pull to see what I evolve it into. If it were up to me, I think I would choose Hitmonchan, because that's who I first chose in Pokemon Yellow, between Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. And I really like Hitmonchan's shiny. The blue gloves are just too cool. Look up when Stunky evolves. I just want to see what we're looking with here. I feel like it's like feels like a level 33 evolution, but hard to keep track of these things. I'm gonna see for a reason I have this level 34. And I'm actually curious about Mudbray as well, because we got a Mudbray in the party, and let's see when that'll evolve. We might evolve the whole Dex by the time we're done with this. Level 30. Okay, so we're getting pretty close with Mudbray. I'm not exactly sure what level it's at now. 27? Okay. So not too much longer on that grind, and then we can... I think I saw Temple, so I might add Temple to the team after this. After we get the Mudsdale. I don't know what it is, but I don't like Mudsdale. I feel like I should. It's cool. Horses are cool, but it just looks kind of weird. Not the biggest Mudsdale fan, so sorry if you're out there and you like Mudsdale, but just not for me. And that's okay. Okay, yeah, we need to get this Trubbish, because we're getting close. Shiny Trubbish is sneakily kind of up there. I mean, look at that little sprite down there. It looks really cool. It has a great, Garbodor is a great shiny as well, so I'd be pretty stoked on a Trubbish, and then that doesn't hurt us for the gym, so it might be more optimal than Growlithe from at least the gym perspective. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the gym leaders are in this game. I think there's a fairy type one, that old lady, but I was listening to a couple just recap movies on people's shiny badge quests for Pokemon Shield, so that's been kind of interesting. But I didn't want to watch it just so I because usually when I'm listening, I'm not like totally focused, especially if I'm at work and I'm listening to something like that. But I'll pull it up for when the shiny encounters come in and just watch the clip. But I don't want too much of the story to get spoiled for me, so. And just like the layouts of the gym, like I was watching Party Arlie's shiny badge quest for Pokemon Shield, and I was watching and I saw the water gym, and I was like, I want to be a little bit surprised about what these gyms look like, because it's been about, let me think, it's got to be like 6 years since I've played through this game. Maybe when it came out in 2018, so I think I played through it once, and then I've been in the post game in my Pokemon Sword file for a very long time, so I know the layout decently well, especially the DLCs, because that's where I spend most of my time at this point. But the Battle Tower was pretty fun for a little bit. That's where I started to get into the VGC and just more competitive battling strategies. This was definitely the first gym that I did online battles for, and started like team building because I unfortunately missed out on online during the Mega, like Gen 6, when all the Megas were going happening. I just didn't really. Gen 6 is a gen I really don't have much of a connection with because I just graduated from college and then Sun and Moon came out shortly after. So I got my 3DS and I played through X and then I also played through Omega Ruby, but I feel like I just moved on to Sun and Moon and then the Switch games were coming out. But I like to go back to my cozy spaces and Fire Red and Leaf Green. And there it is again. If somebody online knows why these Gospelers can put me to sleep, there's no way they're outspeeding me. Is there like a mechanic I don't understand where what's it? Because if it was an interaction with like the grass type, it's a grass type. But like Sing isn't priority, is it? It can't be. Yeah, I have no idea. Why is Gossip? Yeah, grassy glide, grassy terrain. Why is Gossipler outspeeding my Pokemon? There's got to be like a hidden mechanic I do not understand. Yeah, I have no idea because our base speed is 45 higher than Gossifleur, and there's just like I don't understand exactly how speed ties work, but I thought that the stat had to be close, and there's no way that a fully evolved Pangoro with 45 higher base speed should be outsped by a Gossifleur. Don't make no sense. I need that energy in my team though. If we can just outspeed a giant panda. I mean, I guess pandas aren't known to be the fastest things in the world, but come on. You're level 33. Get your shit together. Oh, got a Brilliant Aura. No shiny. This is the first one we've seen today. It'd be kind of cool to get some sort of way to count the Brilliant Aura encounters, but for the auto counter, you need to screenshot the memo of encountering that poke, so I don't think there would be an easy way to do it unless there was a memo that popped up when you encountered the Brilliant Aura poke, but that's not the case. Maybe the watts after, but that actually might be it. Alright, we might get that set up. We can just do it per session. How many? We got a Destiny Knot on the Linen. We'll give Stunky some play here. It's got Acid Spray. It should clean up here. Yep. I need to do some research on why Gossifleur is outspeeding me. It's been a very interesting interaction. Alright, let's get Mudbray to the top. We've done a good job, Pangoro, but it is Mudbray's time because you are totally out of PP. See, I do that every time. I don't know what it is. My brain just short circuits and does not go all the way down to the held items. Let's see if Mudbray's one-shotting this guy. Okay, so we'll be clearing through lots of encounters. Yeah, it's 630 now. I think we should be able to get close to 800. we might just try to finish it off. Would be legendary to get the shiny today, though. 2 hunts under odds. I'll take it. But this is kind of a fun way to shiny hunt because you get the brilliant auras, which give you the better rolls, but they're so infrequent that you're pretty much full odds hunting the whole time. And it gives you that opportunity to get the full odds poke, which would be a little bit cooler. I still love my Skull of it, but it was a 1 in 840 odds, which wouldn't be as cool as a full odds. We do need to think of a nickname for Gossifleur, though, so we might need to ask the community on what the nickname should be. I decided the name Fat Tire for my shiny Skull of it because one, I think it's a good fitting name for what's like a chubby ass squirrel that it evolves into, but definitely like I'm not sold on a specific nickname for any of these pokes. Shiny Tyrogue though would be so cool. And then you get the Hitmonchan, and it's all blued up with the blue box and gloves. I think it gets like a light blue shirt too. Let's check items. And we also hopefully we'll get a. Let me see if I stay in the grass. And no, that didn't help. Must be like a coin flip that you re-roll the same encounter in the grass because I've gotten ridiculous chains of Tyrogue where it's like 6 in a row. That's pretty much how I've racked up all the encounters for that. It's just been I see one, then I see another, and then another, but it must be like a coin flip happening in the hidden numbers. What I should have done is not catch Tyrogue, and then it would have had boosted odds, caught all the other encounters, not Tyrogue, and then I would have had a lot more popping up, but we just learned about that mechanic, so we're definitely going to use that to manipulate encounters on future hunts. If it ends up being Meowth for the third hunt, then we're going to definitely take full advantage of that, so we're maxing out the number of Meowth encounters we get in the overworld. Then we can rack up payday money. I love farming money in these games. Alright, nice. We're getting a couple Tyrogues here. We need to try to get to 100 for him, but it's just a long haul. 2%. Can't be banking on too many of those encounters. But yeah, I'm really enjoying playing or watching Dragon Ball Z. I'm not a big anime guy. I watch the Pokemon anime every now and then, but it's a little cringy. Dragon Ball is all like, I mean, all animes are a little cringy, and they're just so long, so I feel like I never stick with it. The one anime as of recently that I've actually gone through was One Punch Man. That one's really funny. I really enjoyed that, but other than that, I've not been super consistent with actually finishing off animes. But Dragon Ball, I'm pretty into. I think I just hit like 1/3 of the show done, so we're actually getting up there. I feel committed now, but it seems like I don't know what's gonna happen with Frieza because basically it seems like we're in the big fight with Goku right now, so I don't know how like if there's a new big bad that comes into play after they finish with Frieza or Frieza gets away and then there's just another story arc that comes up. We'll see. There's only one way to find out. I gotta watch it. I apologize for any spoilers on Dragon Ball Z, a probably 30-year-old show at this point, but I just love the art style in that. All the characters have such good designs. I can't remember the name of the artist that did those, that drew for Dragon Ball, but he also does the Dragon Quest game, so he's kind of a legend. I do need to finish a Dragon Quest game. I've started 11. I got like decently far in, but really not that. I think I was like 25 hours in. And then it's really fun. If you like these games, you definitely like them, and they definitely have better stories overall. It's kind of like you get the turn-based RPG, but instead of building a team, you have characters that you can cycle in and out from your party, and you can kind of spec out their build so you can lean into certain things if you want to be more healing or more attacking. High horsepower, let's go. All right, what does that do? A little inaccurate, but let's drop Rock Smash because Rock Smash is pretty useless. I want to keep Bulldoze just so I can still do some consistent 100% damage with a ground type stab. Yeah, I definitely think I like Mudbray more than Mudsdale. Mudbray's like a cute little pony, but Mudsdale's kind of a monstrosity. Alright, of course it's Zigzagoon. Let's see. Shiny? Nope. Got the Brilliant Aura, but let me just see what this memo looks like. I'll just have to remember to screenshot it, and then we can actually get the Brilliant Encounter counter going. I can put that below the encounter right there. So then we can see how many above odds encounters we get. Yeah, I think I could do that. And actually it holds on there, so I would have to remember to click A. That would be the only thing. If you leave the memo open for like more than 5 seconds, so that's why your encounter, like encountering a poke, like you only get it only goes up by 1, and that's because it is only up for a couple seconds, but if it stays up, then you have a chance of it counting more than once for those, so you can mess it up. I'm not sitting here mashing A, but for a Brilliant Aura encounter, I'd probably just be smashing it, because I get a little more engaged when I see that Brilliant Aura around the Pokemon. Yeah, my fiance is in Paris, like I was saying, and those pictures she sent today were so cool. She didn't go in the Louvre, but walked by the Louvre, so you saw that like glass pyramid. She also saw the Champs-Élysées, also very cool, and then of course the Eiffel Tower. So it sounds like she's having a good time over there. I'm a little jealous, but she's going out to visit one of her friends from college that moved over there a couple of years ago. Paris would be really cool. So my fiance, we're getting married in December of 2027, and we've been thinking about a honeymoon. Before we plan anything, the actual wedding, we obviously went straight to honeymoon, and we're thinking either Greece or Spain, because I want to be on the Mediterranean. But France would be really cool too. Spend a couple days in Paris, find like I just don't know anything about France outside of Paris, so I don't know where I would want to go. And I do like the idea of a beach vacation because I've been going on a lot of adventure vacations the last few years. We did Peru this year, which was amazing, but we did these like insane hikes every day. So I won't say it was very relaxing. So the idea of rotting on a beach somewhere sounds awesome. And I've never seen the Mediterranean even, so that'd be really exciting. So many Zigzagoons. That's always the encounter. Thank you. Or at least you gotta start gobbling up some double kick PP. Just with that calm down ability, it just slows us down because it triggers halfway through for each hit. No, it is so funny because when I had the Pancham before it evolved into Pangoro, I would outspeed for the most part, so I have no idea why Pangoro wasn't outspeeding, but I would also trigger that ability, whatever it is, to slow you down, and I would still outspeed after, so I really have no idea how Gossifleur is outspeeding me at all. It has no priority abilities. It gets Grassy Glide, I guess, but there's no Grassy Terrain up, and yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Alright, let's check out the high horsepower animation, see if it's any different than Bulldoze. I don't recall if there are specific... Oh, actually we have the battle animations turned off, so we will not be seeing that today. I'm not turning it on. I do not care enough about high horsepower or Mudbray to do that right now. The other day when I was streaming in chat, somebody brought up if you could give away one Mega Evolution and added a Mega Evolution to any poke, what would it be? And giving away the evolution was kind of a tough one because like I feel like I have nothing against any of the Megas. I guess Charizard didn't need to, but both of them are really cool, so I'm okay with it. But Ladian is definitely the top of the list for a Mega I would want. Same with Kanto Marowak. I think that's my favorite poke of all time, so anything to give Kanto Marowak a little bit more, I'm all for. But it is an interesting prompt. I feel like the Laddies made sense because they had the Gen 3 remakes in Gen 6, but I honestly don't think they look as cool as the original design, so those would be the ones I'd be willing to give away, even though I understand why they exist. But Ladian would be cool. Flygon I feel like is the top option for most people. Flygon needs something because it's so cool, has a great shiny, and it's just outclassed by every other dragon type. There's really not, I guess it gets Levitate, but I feel like it doesn't do anything that other pokes can't. Like Dragonite is flying. The dragon flying is very common for dragon type, so grounded type attacks really aren't affecting a lot. It doesn't build a niche by having Levitate. But I feel like I was listening to like a Wolfie video on like the worst dragon types or something at some point, and I don't know if Flygon was on the list or he talked about Flygon at some point and said I think it had a result in one of the tournaments, so I don't think it can. Somebody found some way to use it. It's pretty fast. I can't remember if it's more of an attack or a special attacker. I want to say special attack, but its stats are good just relative to other dragon types. It's really not anything impressive. Alright, we got one more Linoone to level 31, which means we actually get it's on the new encounter table, so let's check for some items right now. We're racking up these herbs, which is nice because I remember I used like a mental herb for a team online one time, and I only had one mental herb. But if you use it outside of online, when it consumes the item, it's gone. So I just didn't know how to get another one because I think it's a random hidden item, like the sparkle items in the game. But I was just not in the mood to farm those to try to find one, and I think it has specific sections of the map it actually shows up. So Once I used that, I was no longer using Mental Herb. I think it was for Xerneas, and that has that ridiculous move that increases its special attack, special defense, and speed by 2 stages, which is literally insane, but that takes 2 turns. And Mental Herb, it's Mental Herb or Power Herb. It'll basically 2 turn moves take 1 turn, so it just makes Xerneas into a ridiculous poke. But I think that's like a poke that was actually, it's like one of the best of all time, but I don't think it's won Worlds because there's always just been such a strong counter meta against it that when it has been relevant, it just didn't really end up taking home the Worlds trophy. Too bad, poor Xerneas. So good, but can't take it home. It's like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. When I was at work today, I always get myself wrapped up in too many fantasy leagues, and I told myself I'm not going to do the work league this year because I got my hometown crew. We have a dynasty league, and that's been going on for probably close to a decade at this point. So that's been fun. And then we also have a redraft league with that same group that I just got pulled into. There was another guy in it, and they finally expanded to 12 teams. But last year, one of the guys dropped out last minute, and me and my buddy that were in the Dynasty League, so we were the 2 outsiders that weren't in this original league, we co-managed a team, and we actually went on to have the best single regular season of all time, and they were like patronizing us at the beginning, be like, "Oh, welcome to the big leagues," and we went in and just had the greatest regular season that league's ever seen, which was pretty legendary, but made it to the championship and lost, so that was a brutal L. Actually made it to the championship in both the Dynasty League and that league. Lost them both, so I brought home some good second place money, but that was a tough pill to swallow. Rough weekend overall. But yeah, anyways, I'm getting tempted to join my work league, which I have too many, because then I have a league with my friends from college that I want to stay in, and then I have like one with my Boston friends, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that this year. I think it's just too many, and like that league, like people don't take it too seriously. I'm not of the mentality that everybody needs to be hardcore into it, but I like when trades happen. It just makes it more interesting overall when you have people that are engaged in the league and actually following and watching the games. It's been such a good way to just stay connected with my high school friends. Alright, I'm going to get one more encounter. We'll battle this Gossifleur over here, and then I'm gonna go run to the bathroom real quick. And then grab some water. Done with my seltzer. Alright, well, we'll get the next encounter, see if it's shiny, and then I'll be back in a moment. Yeah, we're definitely going to get up to 800 encounters today, and then I need to go eat some dinner, because I'm starting to get a little hungry. And no shiny Gossifleur. All right, we're back. Yeah, I'm probably gonna tomorrow. I might start working on putting together a video for chapter one of the Shiny Badge Quest. I don't think it'll be too long. This will actually be my first time editing a longer video. I've done a couple shorts, but I kind of want to put together a video of just the hunt for the shiny Squovit, and then there's a pretty funny clip on my channel of how I didn't recognize that was shiny at first. So I actually got the shiny and didn't realize it for the first like 10 seconds of the encounter, and then it sparkled, and I was like, what the fuck? I am colorblind, so that's why I did not notice that it was shiny, but that was very funny. So that'll be funny to put in there. But then, yeah, like I said, I've never really made a longer video, so I need to basically learn how DaVinci Resolve works and just figure out transitions, because I'm kind of pushing to make the videos look semi-professional. I think it'll help promote the channel a little bit, and just I want to get a little bit more momentum behind these streams so we have some more people in chat to talk with and hang out with. We'll probably put together like a short that kind of advertises the run as well, so we can get more people joining on a regular basis. But I plan on hunting on a lot of weekdays usually, especially when I work from home. I can just like log off at 5, hop right on and stream for an hour or two. So you'll get me on Mondays and Thursdays are probably gonna be more consistent streaming nights, and then on the weekends I might do some hunts, but I also don't want to keep my fiance up. Our bedroom is right over there, so I don't want to be jabbering all night and keeping her up. But we'll have to test that out and see how much she can actually hear me when she's in the other room, so we'll know if that's actually a problem. But otherwise, I'll probably just record those sessions and watch some TV or sports. I think this will actually be a pretty fun, to stream during the NFL season, because I can just get Red Zone on one screen and then stream on the other. But those might be more recorded over actual live streams, just because I do get very distracted when NFL's on, so we'll see how well I can multitask. But this is pretty monotonous stuff, so if I can't handle doing, getting a bunch of encounters and watching an NFL game on one screen, then I might have some issues here. All right, let's check real quick for items. Got so many repels. I'm probably just going to sell these, because in this hunt, we do not want repels for this challenge. All right. It's been a big Gossifleur day. I've been seeing a ton of those. Barely any Trubbish. We're still under 100 encounters for those, so I hope we start getting a little bit more there. But really not many for Growlithe either. We've gotten some, but I feel like it's been a bit. And Tyrogue we've gotten a couple encounters, but haven't been able to chain any together. I need to figure out how that works. So we're one-shot with the double kick now on the lower level encounters. Mudbray grows stronger. I assume we're going to be close to about 400 for Gossifleur, so we might just need to finish that off and get to the 500 threshold, because then we're really only motivated at that point to encounter the Brilliant Aura versions, and we can be a little bit more targeted with this hunt. And really just focus on like encountering Growlithe and Trubbish to try to rack up those numbers a bit more. And Tyrogue. Hey, 777. No shiny. That would have been a legendary encounter number to get the shiny on. Was doing a pretty good job during the first hunt that when I got to a cold number, just like farming a Brilliant Aura encounter to try to get the best odds for that encounter to be the one, but we'll try to remember for 800. Just gotta have my brain turned on for encounter 800. In my Soul Silver playthrough where I got the shiny Geodude, shiny Ladian, or I guess it's shiny Graveler now. I'm trying to decide if I actually want to evolve the Graveler because I already have a Gen 4 shiny Golem from my Platinum Nuzlocke, and I feel like it's cooler to have like multiple stages of an evolution rather than having the same shiny Pokemon, but it just feels like I should evolve it so it's like its best ultimate form. But that's up for we'll decide. So I got the shiny Meganium, shiny Graveler, shiny Ladian, and then the other members of the team are shiny, or not shiny, but for Alligator, we have a Charizard, and then I just picked up a Teddiursa at the end of the game. So I'm grinding that up now just so it's in the 30s for the 8th gym. But I actually caught it and I put an egg move on it, so it actually knows Yawn, which is pretty cool. I just want to have some sort of status inflicting move on the team since I don't have any. I plan on hunting the roaming beast, so I actually might need pulling Gengar for that just so I can actually put it to sleep. And I'll have to use Mean Look to trigger the encounter, but I might need to grind up that. There's a Growl. I might need to grind up that Gengar just so it can actually survive some hits from Entei and Raikou. But yeah, I'm kind of doing a completionist run, and it's been a real slow burn because I did one shiny hunt in that. But it probably did, let's see. Yeah, I was at at 80 hours before the 5th gym, and now we're at the 7th gym, and I have like 122 hours in it, so that's been a real slow burn. I'm just trying to catch all the rare Pokemon. I'm working on a living dex in that game, because the plan is to get the living dex and then transfer all those pokes up to Gen 5, so I can, because my actual goal is to get a living dex within my White 2 file. I'm creating a forever file. Word 2. So that's been a multi-year project. I start all these like challenges within these games, but then I have a hard time following through because I also have a leaf green file. I'm trying to get the living dex in as well, which is honestly kind of impossible. There's definitely some folks I need to get like the GameCube games for, so we'll cross that path once we get there. But I'm at the stage in my leaf green living dex where I need to trade over my whole living dex from Emerald, so that just takes forever. So I might do that one of these nights. I'd like to make some progress on that before the end of the year. Just grind out those trades, and then I'll see what gaps I actually have and what games I need to pick up. But I assume I need to get both the GameCube games, which are ridiculously expensive, but whatever. I'm an adult. I can budget and afford those. I work too much to not be able to, even if it's $100, like in the grand scheme of things, that's like one dinner out, or like an expensive Uber Eats order when we're ordering for two. If we get like Indian, like that jumps to like $70 really quickly. It's kind of ridiculous, but I can budget around that. Maybe when around bonus time, I can splurge on one of those games. So if I make progress before the end of the year, that might be on my radar for something to buy around March. But yeah, it will be fun to put together the chapter one because I'm really a complete novice at video editing, so I'm gonna have to dive deep. That might take several hours, but I might carve out some time rather than do a hunting one of the night. Maybe like Saturday night. I'll instead try to just like carve out some time to actually edit the video, but I'm gonna have to watch some other creators' videos to get some inspiration on what I should do because it's like I don't even know where to start with creating video, building an intro for the movie. So that'll be fun to do research on because I feel like I always just watch these videos as a spectator and don't actually look at like what they're doing. Like obviously pay attention, but I'm not thinking about like what I could do in videos. So I'm gonna have to. I have a bunch of B-roll because I've been recording a bunch of these hunts, but it'll be good to kind of aggregate that and then I don't like. I probably have so many MP4 files stacked up. I'm probably gonna run out of space on my hard drive pretty soon, but I'll probably need to like delete some of the streams because most of them are on YouTube anyway, so they're documented. So if I ever need to download something again, it's there. But I also record in OBS when I'm streaming, so basically I just want to be able to have those clips available so I can get all the B-roll in, and I have a bunch of obviously grinding for the first shiny, so I have all the clips I need, but it's just I'm gonna have to learn how all the transitions and all that stuff works as I pull together my first actual video. And then I'll probably do a short just to kind of market the run a little bit more so people can learn about my channel more. But yeah, honestly, I've been enjoying it a lot. Most of the time after work, I'm doing something like this anyways, just gaming on my own, so hopping on stream, it's kind of nice because basically it's just something I'd be doing already, but I feel like I'm being productive instead of just gaming by myself. It's definitely nice to have alone time, so there'll be times when I'm craving a game that I'll just keep it to myself. And also when with my partner, like I love handhelds just because I can sit on the couch with her and it feels like we're hanging out. She'll be like either watching one of her shows or I'll be or we'll be reading and we can just hang out together. But for the times that like I have a lot of nights where I'm just like gaming late night, and I play primarily single player games, so it feels like a good kind of replacement. Like I'll stream instead of just doing those late night gaming sessions. But I'm kind of thinking about what other games I might want to stream. Let me see. Can we get a Growl? Yeah, I'm trying to get more Growl encounters. I've gotten so much Gossifleur this round. Once we get to 799, we're gonna hunt down for a Brilliant Aura encounter to make that 800, so we can get some increased odds for the final encounter of the day. I'm getting very hungry, so I gotta go start making dinner soon. Should be quick though. We're just making leftovers. I don't think it'll take me too long. Timing is working out pretty well too, because I'm running out of PP on this Mudbray, so I can get the 800th encounter, and then we'll go heal the boys up and get ready for round 2 tomorrow. But tomorrow might be a video editing day, aka I learned how to do any sort of video editing, and I basically I got a video up last night, which actually, or a short that did pretty well, at least for my lowly standards. But I got my third video or my third short with over 1,000 views. I think it's in at like 1,400 right now, so that's pretty exciting for me. But I want to start piecing together the footage for the big video, so we'll get in the weeds with DaVinci Resolve because DaVinci Resolve is free. It's a little confusing at first, but overall, like I didn't have to look anything up. I think I used ChatGPT to answer a few questions on how to use it, but other than that, I'd say it's pretty user friendly and like nothing is hidden too much. I had a harder time with trying to figure out how Photoshop worked, going with no experience. I used it back in high school, like in my photography class, but that was the last time I had Photoshopped anything. So basically, I'm just gonna have to learn the lay of the land when putting together a larger video because I noticed that when I click delete on clips, it like deletes everything in that section. So I got to be a little bit careful as I'm putting it together so I don't delete any work. Fortunately, Control Z works pretty well, so. Alright, 2 more encounters and then we're going to be brilliant aura farming. I'm going to keep saying that so I actually remind myself and remember to do it. But yeah, Light Day on the Trebush. I think it's a lower encounter, but I would have expected to see a few more. I'm hoping that we can see if we can get another one here right now. Yep. Nice. Yeah, we'll get to 800. That'll be the Brilliant Aura encounter, and I'll get the Shiny Trebush. That'd be insane. I'm definitely not opposed to Trebush. It's grown on me. Never used Garbodor, so that's an A-OK encounter. While Gossifler's been the main target here, I'm Trebush, you're chill with me. And there's a Gossifler. Okay, so now we gotta do the Brilliant Aura farming after this one. Let's double kick this bitch ass, and then we will try to get a Brilliant Aura, which we only, I think, maybe we got 2, but again, I've had 150 encounters. I guess I would have expected a little bit more than that. It just feels like there's so many encounters that I get surprised when it comes up so infrequently. It's like, boom, that's 5 encounters. Like, they kind of happen pretty quickly, but let me just go all the way down, because I think you have to despawn them. Or maybe I have to, like, leave the area, and then I get a full reset on spawns, because I think that Growlithe is still there. Yeah, let's try that. We'll just pop into Wedgehurst, or Motostoke, and then come back in. Just trying to keep an eye out, because it's kind of hard to tell when they're in the grass sometimes if there is the Brilliant Aura around them. Growlithe really kind of follows you, huh? Come all the way up here. Double back. Because we get the 3% chance on Growlithe and Gossifleur, so that's the most likely Brilliant Aura we'd find. But oh shit. Well, we wasted it. Oh well. We'll still try to hunt it out. I want to get one more before we hop off today. And then it's dinner time. Tyrogue. We always take the Tyrogue encounter. Even a Brilliant Aura now. They're rare enough where I'll make an exception. Sitting at 800 encounters. I think we can get up to quarter odds when I stream later this week. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. It depends on what I'm in the mood for tomorrow, because tomorrow's kind of a busy day at work, so I mean, we're taking the Tyrogue encounter. But basically, I'll see what mood I'm in tomorrow, whether I want to edit or if I want to hop back on stream. Might try to get one more clip out tonight. I'm just trying to get more shorts, so get some more exposure to the channel, so we can have people start joining these streams. Might test out using Twitch as well. I don't know how to do a stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time yet, so I need to figure that out. But alright, we're actually getting a good amount of Tyrogue right now, so I'm just gonna take those encounters while they're coming. Alright, so right now we're just gonna target specifically Trubbish and Tyrogue encounters. And then Brilliant, and once we get the Brilliant Aura, we'll call it a day. But I want to rack up those encounters wherever they are. There's a Trubbish, we'll take it. But yeah, the hunt kind of slows down, becomes more targeted as we get more pokes to 500. I was kind of feeling that with when I got Rookity to 500 on the last hunt. I just like basically was not as motivated to actually encounter the non-Brilliant Aura Rookities. So we can focus on Tyrogue, Trubbish, and Growlithe after we get Gossifleur up to 500, and then only do the Gossifleur Brilliant Aura encounters. Alright, Growlithe, you're really following me around. But right now I don't want you. I love you, Growlithe, but not right now. Yeah, this is crazy. I feel like we're getting so many encounters and just none are Brilliant Aura. I'm gonna have to look up some videos while I cook dinner to see if there's a good way to farm them a little bit more effectively than I am, but I feel like it's just doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah, because that just reset the whole overworld encounters just by exiting there. Everything is a Zigzagoon right now. Let's pop over here and then we can reset these. So that was all Gossifleur. Is it still all? No. Okay, so I think that it definitely depends on like your distance from the. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, it definitely is dependent on your distance from the actual overworld encounter, but I'm not sure. A little bit in the dark on that. We'll do some research. I'm gonna go do my own research, and then I'll tell all of you my findings. Yeah, I think after this, I'm gonna try to do hunts for specific folks, so we might have a more catered group of targets for the next one, because like I haven't really set any of these these hunts up to actually phase, and I want to experience phasing, because like I think it's cool because then you just like accumulate more shinies, and it makes it a little bit more of an adventure to actually track down the target and everything. So definitely looking forward to that a little bit. Let's see what we got for items on these guys. Right. More repels. Everything's above 31 now though, so we're actually getting a good tier of pickup encounters. Can have so many items by the end of this. I got a big nugget pretty early on too, so we've racked up some cash from that. I've grown to love farming money in these games just because it's kind of an annoying roadblock when you want to be able to buy a certain TM or something like that, but you can't afford it. Like, especially in the early games with the game corners, having lots of money just makes that whole experience rather than gambling. I actually, in Pokemon Yellow, did the old-fashioned way. I grinded up money or coins through the slots and got a Porygon in my Yellow playthrough, so that was a lot of fun. I did that on my 2DS. That was a really fun team. I think I had a Chansey, a Porygon, a Gengar. Can't remember what else, but I'm sure I still have that save file. Damn, this is like ridiculous. I haven't seen a Brilliant Aura in years. It's kind of funny because I feel like the Zigzagoon run around a lot, but they don't really target you specifically. They're just kind of erratic. Oops, we gotta get somebody else in front because poor little Mudbray here is going to struggle right now. Alright, Stunky, you're getting the call up. Yeah, I have so many Moonstones already too. almost got the Mudsdale, so we can grind up a temple for the next stream. Alright, and what do we got over here? Nothing. This is crazy. 3%, and like we're getting a good amount of encounters right now, but they're just not popping up. Where are my auras? Is that a reflection on me? No aura? I mean, come on, look what I'm doing. I'm streaming a Pokemon game from 8 years ago online. 32 years old. And we got one. Let's go. Shiny? No, that would have been insane. Alright. I'm glad it was Tyrogue. That would have been insane. It's funny because that's one of the lower odds. Brilliant auras, because we definitely don't have 100 defeated yet here. So before we hop off, we're gonna take a quick look at the Pokedex, see where we're at for counts on everybody. We're gonna go heal up, so why don't we run back? I'm just gonna double check to see if there's any others, because I feel like when I get one, I get a couple, but it does not seem to be the case right now. So that will be it for this. Oh, we get another one. Like I said, when there's one, there's always another. No shiny. Oh well, we tried. 8-10 encounters, that's it. That's a good place to stop. We'll be 214 away from the quarter odds. It is funny, because even within the Brilliant Auras, like you still have 1 in 500, so it still takes forever, but if I get to the point where I have the 500, like kind of the threshold I'm doing is I'm going to still hunt down like defeating 500 just so I can rack up as many full odds encounters as possible. So we got a good chance of getting a full odds, but I will take advantage of the Brilliant Auras, at least for some of these hunts. I might put some more restrictions on the hunts if they start happening a little bit quicker, but we've already put a lot of time into this hunt already, so to this journey. All right, so let's get Pangoro back in front. We will run back over to the route, and then we're going to take a look at our Pokedex and hop off. But this has been fun. Making a lot of progress. That's another nice thing is like in a full odds hunt, there's not really like progress to be made, but like by manipulating these Brilliant Auras, like I feel like I have like thresholds to work towards, and it's kind of keeping me going. All right, don't know where. Let's just go to the top. Okay, I know that all the encounters in this route are after this. So we got for Growlithe, 241 encounters. We didn't get a ton of them today, but we'll try to target some tomorrow or later this week. 51 encounters on Tyrogue, so we're getting there. We're halfway to when we increase the Brilliant Aura odds for him. Pretty good. 407 on Gossifleur, so we gotta wrap that up. I think we'll probably get that in the next time because it's a pretty common encounter. I have a feeling that's gonna end up being our shiny. That's what the odds are telling us, at least. 99 on Trubbish. Wow. I might just need to go finish that so we can just get the odds today. Then we have, that's like a big one, is just getting the increased threshold on the Brilliant Auras, because that's really where you start stacking up the overall odds of getting the shiny. Alright, yeah, we'll get a couple more bonus encounters because I can't deny Tyrogue. But yeah, I just want to get one more Trubbish, so we're at 100 going into our hunting tomorrow. And there it is. Alright, don't run away from me. Gotcha. Alrighty. And at 812 encounters, we are done for the day. So let's knock this guy out, and we will call it. Alrighty. I will be on tomorrow, but everybody have a great evening, and I will see you.